Hello, hello, and welcome to Mike Cobb's Offshore Investment Report. We have a great podcast today because we're going to get some inside insights into what Mr. Cobb, the Offshore Investment Oracle, told the ECI shareholders and stockholders in Belize last week. And now we're going to know as well, so we can make a whole bunch of money. Mike, how you doing? Welcome
Hey,
back.
yeah, good to be back. Thank you. But it was a heck of a trip coming home. I left Sunday. I left the island of Ambergris Caye. I went to the airport at 11:30. You have to take this little puddle jumper over to the international airport. So I went to the airport at 11:30. 12 o'clock, I'm in international. I get on my two o'clock flight to Houston, and then because all the storms. We didn't actually get on our airplane until after 11 o'clock that night. Then they had a flat tire or a change of tire. It wasn't flat, but anyway, they had to change a tire. Landed at Dulles at 4:15, something like that. Waited for my baggage and drove into my driveway at 6:15 a.m. So it was a long trip home. And, it's funny. Sometimes people go, oh, Cobb, the jet set lifestyle. I'm like, you know how many times I've eaten a Snickers bar for dinner? I mean, and a bottle of water, right?
I feel like I'm watching Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I'm looking for John Candy there with you.
Boy, what a sorry passing. That guy was funny. Oh my
He was
gosh.
a funny guy, and I think he's only like 42 years old. Of course, he weighed 400 pounds.
Right.
That's
so, and there might have been some drugs mixed into that whole equation too, but anyway.
Whatever it was, he should have cut back on it. So you just got back from a shareholder stakeholders meeting. And look, I'm going to say flat out, I believe anyone with any money to invest needs to invest it offshore. Do not invest in the Titanic, aka the U.S. ship of state. Now, what do you think, and what did you tell your people down there?
Well, Carter, we can't really talk about investment, so we can talk about what I'm doing and what other folks are doing.
Okay.
And obviously, if people want to check it out, they're free to check it out. I mean, right? It's a free world.
Check it out right there.
What's that?
There.
Oh yeah, right.
That's the website, folks. Check it out, study it. It is where to put your money. Mike can't say invest. I'm telling you, you can either invest in this or you can hand your money over to the captain of the Titanic. And while he's telling you, oh, the ship's going great, we only hit the front of the iceberg. Yeah, sure. It ain't good, Mike. They got to get their money offshore. And you are the Offshore Oracle.
Well, thank you, Carter. Look, I'm a big fan of diversification. I keep assets in several countries. Obviously, I do have assets in the United States. I have assets in Canada. I have assets in Belize, Nicaragua, and Panama. And so, for me, having diversification is really important. It's the old simple adage. I mean, have your eggs in many baskets, right? Don't have your eggs in one basket. I think for so many people coming out of North America, it's just so easy for us to have all of our eggs in one basket. And and maybe it is the Titanic, but you know what? It's a giant ship, and it's really nice, and it's going well, and it'll probably take a long time to sink, Carter, even though we hit that iceberg. I don't see us, going to the bottom anytime soon. But I think that, all empires come and go.
Yes.
And I think that the US is at least exhibiting the symptoms of an empire in decline. And with those symptoms, I mean, look, there's no predicting the future, right? Maybe it'll keep going in the direction it's going. Maybe there'll be some rational good behavior to rescue us from the direction we're headed. But you and I both see the direction, and we both think it's probably downward. So diversification is important. I do believe that everybody should have assets outside their home country. And I don't know what percentage it is, but some meaningful percentage. But again, I wouldn't bet the horse on any country or any asset class, right? So again, different countries, you have different political risk, you have different geographies, you have different consumer profiles. I mean, again, the more diversification we can have in our portfolios, I think ultimately the safer those portfolios will be, because again, we can never predict any one thing, right? But
no.
big broad trends and so yes, we had our shareholder meeting down in Belize last week, and it was great. I mean, we had about 40 shareholders show up in person. We had another about the same number, 35, 40 online. We Zoom it too for the folks who can't make it.
Right.
And and I'm happy to share the kinds of things we talked about and whatever,
Mike,
Carter. I know you kind of
before
preface
we get
this, and I just have to hedge a lot whenever we're
okay,
talking about investment.
you hedge, and I'll just keep pressing. Before we get to diversification, I agree. Okay, but if you had invested in FANG, the high tech stocks, Facebook, Amazon, Google, the FFANG, or whatever it is,
Yeah.
you would today, and you've made that investment last year, you would today have lost 37% of your investment.
Okay.
Had you invested in a home or property in Grand Pacifica, one of your 6 Caribbean resorts, would you have lost 37% now a year later?
No, you'd have a beautiful home in Nicaragua, or a beautiful home in Belize, or a beautiful home in, some part of the world, right? I mean, yeah.
Going up in value.
Well, again, maybe yes, maybe no. Hard to say, Carter, right? I mean, I look, 1 year is not very long in real estate. Let's
No,
lay on the table,
no.
right? But yes, you would have a beautiful home in a country somewhere overseas that would be a place you could use as a vacation. It's a place that you can put in a rental program. It's a place that, a lot of people looking for plan B, right? They're, they do see the Titanic and they want their life raft, right? I mean, and so, having a home overseas is like having a life raft on the Titanic, right? It's really easy. Just get one. And then if the Titanic goes down, jump in your life raft and go
Jump
away.
in the life raft. It's like I consider it more like Grand Pacifica, Grand Belize, El Zante, the Reef and Honduras, all your other properties. I consider them more, if I'm going to continue the analogy into the ground, more like the Stockholm. Okay, the Stockholm is the ship that picked everyone up.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. I'll lock that little piece of trivia away. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, you were saying what you discussed with the folks down there.
Yeah, well, before we get on, you just said that that's what we want to talk about, and again, conversation can go anywhere. But
yeah,
one of the things that we always try to talk about at our shareholder meeting, obviously, we talk about the past year, 2021. We talk about all the things that we've accomplished as a company. I mean, I think in 2021 we had about 75 homes under construction. Today we have about 100 homes and condos, addresses under construction, right?
Yeah.
I think last year, towards the end of the year, we had about 75 homes and condos under construction. We talk about all the operational things we did. We spent a lot of time talking about the new people in the organization. We've really beefed up our senior leadership team, vice presidents and senior managers. We added a new person to our board of directors, a former Marriott individual. So again, we really, on the operational side, on the human resource side, we really had a great year last year. And on our sales side too. I mean, we had our best sales year ever. About $23 million of product was sold last year. So again, very, very good year on many fronts. And we can talk about any of that stuff in a lot more detail if folks want to. But the other thing that I try to talk about at the shareholder meeting, which is something that I think is really relevant, is because that's all history. That's all past. Can't change anything. It is what it is, right? But one of the things that I really talk about is, where are we going? What's happening? What's happening next? And not just with our company, but the industry as a whole. The sort of the general climate you touched on. I mean, the Titanic analogy is a good one, right? I mean, that's happening, and if the trends continue, the ship's taking on water, right? And so, this lifeboat analogy, and for our company, this lifeboat analogy is really a good one, because we've been able to help so many people, maybe even as much as 2/3 of the property owners whose homes we're building right now for them. We're in some part a lifeboat buyer, right? And it's never, I shouldn't say it's never, rarely is it somebody who says, I just want it and I'm not going to, whatever. And they're, it's nothing else. It's just a lifeboat, right? I think most people look at the lifeboat and they say, well, if I'm not using it, for that purpose, can I come vacation in it a couple weeks a year? Absolutely. Can I put it in a rental program? Absolutely. Right. So it's more than one thing, but probably 2/3 of the people who bought homes last year, in some part of their analysis, were looking at it as a lifeboat purchase, right? And so I think that's going to continue. I think we're going to see the trends continue. I think our Titanic is going to keep taking on water. I mean, I hope not. I hope smarter heads prevail, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
But as long as that's happening, then yeah, we will. We will continue to see people making a wise, prudent decision, which is to secure a lifeboat, right, before the water's over the top and the ship is sunk, and the time to do that is now. I mean, there ain't no getting a lifeboat when the ship's underwater, right? I mean, it's now.
No, and there ain't no getting a lifeboat when all of them have been taken.
Well,
and
that's true too,
problem,
right?
At the Offshore Club, my inbox is filled with hundreds of emails from people saying, I want to get out of the U.S. Where should I go? Okay. Yeah. And I tell them, I give a variety of options, as you know, but one of the reasons I do, and I just sent out another letter today about ECI to all the members, and I'll tell you why. Because you are increasing the value of the property. Now, I think you move there to live, because it's the good life at a great price.
Right.
Okay. When you can buy a home that would cost you 10 times as much in the U.S., your cost of living is about 1/3 of what it would be at the U.S. in a gorgeous residential resort community. Go live there. But in addition to that, Mike, you talked about your building. Let me give you an example. I bought a home on Rockwell Avenue in New York, right? All right. Now, at the end of the street were 2 old Quonset huts that had been Mrs. Smith's apple pies. Okay. Was their factory years ago, before the politicians in the city drove out all the business. So it's sitting there. A gentleman comes in, he buys them. And this is, folks, hear me out, because this is exactly what's happening here with Mike building all these gorgeous homes in that residential resort community. He turns those 2 Quonset huts into a mansion. Well, what do you think happened to my property values? I'm going to tell you, my property values quadrupled in 2 years.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So what you're building, you can get a lot at Casita Village, right?
Yeah, Casita Village.
Casita Village for $37,000. That is within walking distance of the ocean and the golf course. I'm correct, right?
I think it's $39,900 for a home site, but that's all right, Carter. If somebody's watching this, by the way, if somebody's watching this, I would go ahead and do that for them.
Thank you. You're
welcome, Carter. No, you and I have been friends for a long, long time, and you've sent a lot of business our way, and I'd be happy to do something a little special for the folks watching this. But yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that, folks. Tell them Groucho sent you. A lot of people are saying, what does that mean? Well, okay.
I know what it means.
You know what it means. So, but what you have is you buy that lot at Casita Village, gorgeous lot, walking distance to the beach and the golf course, and you're building homes all around it. Exactly what happened to me on Rockwell Avenue.
You got it.
Or am I right? Am I right?
Yep. Yeah. And the point about having a home site with other people building homes, and in some cases very expensive homes, right? The value of your asset, probably will increase, right? I mean, just like yours did, Carter. Yours went up significantly.
Yeah, fantastic. So, yeah. I wanted to keep it. I'm begging the guy to buy the rest of the houses on the block.
There you go. Buy yours last. Yeah.
And buy mine last. It's like I told you, we have that place in West Virginia in a glorified trailer park that one day somebody's going to come in like you, a major developer, and it's a peninsula out in the ocean, 400 square whatever. It's huge. Somebody's going to come in and want to buy it and put multi-million-dollar homes on it. And my lot is going to be the last one they buy. And I'm going to pile trash in it and everything. But seriously, it is it's a great investment. Any Mike Cobb community, and there are 6: Belize, Nicaragua, Panama, Costa Rica, Honduras, El Salvador, right?
Correct. Yep.
Anyone is a great investment because you're continually improving them.
Yeah. We're adding value all the time. All the time. I mean, we just talked about some of the stuff. I mean, we just finished some tennis courts and a small soccer field at Grand Pacifica. We just finished paving our boulevard, right? So now literally the entire road from Managua to Grand Pacifica is paved the whole way, right? I mean, we've invested in all kinds of equipment to really just keep it beautiful. And I mean, so again, the golf course as well. So yeah, I mean, all of the kinds of things that we're doing just continue to add value to the property. And then people building homes and we're building condominiums. And so yeah, I mean, all of that activity translates into sustained value for owners, right? But it also means a higher quality of life when you have people living there. I mean, you're going to find neighbors and friends. You're going to have fun with the people who are there, and all of that is spectacular. I mean, again, if it's only a plan B, well, you might not ever go visit it. But what's interesting, a lot of people don't really think they're going to use it, right, for a vacation. They don't think they're going to visit. They go down, and what they find, Carter, is they meet people who they really enjoy spending time with, and it becomes more and more a place that they want to be. We just had a guy buy one of these beautiful oceanfront home sites for, it was probably, I don't remember, $325,000. I mean, it was that kind of number. And then he built a, $700,000-800,000 home on it. He's got $1 million home on the Pacific Ocean. And I mean, the same home in California would be, 12, 15, 20 million.
Easily,
I mean,
easily,
right. I mean,
easily that. Yeah.
Easy. Anyway, but he's got this beautiful home, and he is using it all the time now. I think he did not imagine how much fun he would have when he was in, when he's in Nicaragua, and he and his family love it. I mean, he's got 2 small children, not that small, but whatever, kind of tweens, right? That kind of age. And they love being there, just like I loved being there. And so it's, again, people start with one intention, but many times find that the lifestyle part of it is equally interesting, or in some cases even more compelling, for folks to be there. They want to be there.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I just finished an article for I guess it'll be the June edition of Insider Magazine with Escape Artist, escapeartist.com.
Right. Yeah.
And the name of the article is Happy Trails. Okay. And it makes that same point. Happy trails to you, because once you make your way there, you ain't coming back. The chances are you are not coming back.
Right. Or if you do, you're going to spend a lot more time, in that wonderful place than you thought you were going to spend when you started. So yeah. Absolutely.
It's a good lifestyle. I mean, you can do that or stay here, where the president announced last week he knows gas prices have really skyrocketed, but I'm going to make them even worse until we get people to stop driving cars. The hell's that? I think you're a little better off heading down to Grand Pacifica, to the good life at a great price down there, rather than sitting up here waiting to the point where you have to walk everywhere. I mean,
you can zip around in your golf cart,
Zip around in your golf cart.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, we have probably 3/4 of our residents have golf carts or little, ATV kind of vehicles, and they use those to get around in. And on Ambergris Key in Belize, where we're developing the Best Western and the Marriott, I mean, it's all golf carts, right? I mean, so yeah, it's fun and it's casual, right? I mean, the thing about a car is you drive by somebody, you can't really talk to them. You might see them and wave, but there, literally, it's open air, right? I mean, you see people all the time on your golf cart. You stop for a minute, you chat with people. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
And you know what? They're fun to drive. I have 2 of them.
Yeah.
Up at my place in West Virginia. When I bought my first one, the guy said, "Why don't you buy this golf cart?" I said, "Well, I don't know how to drive them." And the guy said, "You push the pedal and it moves." He said, "I don't know. I don't think I can make it any simpler than that." So it is. It is a wonderful lifestyle.
Yeah.
And it's all there.
Yep.
and it's a community that is safe, secure, and it helps you be more solvent. Everything is
Yep.
there, Mike.
Yeah, correct.
Everything is there. So
Correct.
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So thank you for building
You're welcome.
it.
Anyway, and I'll just wrap up by saying, we had a great shareholder meeting. Again, we had about 40 people there, and so we had a couple receptions, we had a dinner, and it was a long meeting. It was a 6-hour meeting, no breaks. We go straight through, beginning to end, and but in 6 hours, when I asked, does anybody have any questions? One person from the floor had a question, and 2 people online had a question, and that was it.
Great.
And that's what makes me feel really good, Carter, because at the end of the day, we do a good job as a company, but we also communicate what we're doing to our shareholders. Now the annual report will actually publish a physical PDF, I guess, whatever, but we publish an annual report now that'll go out by the end of this week. Again, just kind of covering everything that we do. And if folks are accredited investors, and they're interested in learning more, we're always happy to share information about the company with folks. But it is only open to accredited investors, which
Okay.
if you are, you know what it means. But generally, it's people with a net worth of $1 million or more, excluding their home, or an annual income of $200,000 or more. So if folks are accredited, then we're able to actually have real, frank and open discussions about, who we are as a company, what we do,
Good.
and how
Good.
folks might want to, own a piece of it. But yeah.
And
So,
if so, how does an accredited investor get a direct line to discuss it and say, okay, I want to make it, I want to move forward?
sure. I mean, I know Gary put up the info at ecidevelopment.com a minute ago. If somebody wants more, just info at ecidevelopment.com. Just say the subject line, hey, interested in learning more about share ownership in ECI development. In the subject line, whatever, put your, just send me a little note. And then what I'll do is send you the non-disclosure agreement and the accredited investor certification
Fantastic.
form. And then folks can fill
Fantastic.
that out. Then we'll go for it. Yeah.
It's great. All right, folks.
Yeah.
There you go. You have a direct line to the offshore Oracle, the man in charge of ECI. So take advantage of it. Mike, thank you. It's been
Thanks,
great.
Carter. Always
It's
fun,
been
man.
perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing it all with us. And we'll see you next week, folks. There you go. There you have it. You have, as I said, a direct line to the top guys. So take advantage of it. Info at ecidevelopment.com. If you're a accredited investor, get in on it. Get in and get in and make out. That's the bottom line. So I always tell you, let's do this thing.